Something is shifting in Chicago's streets. Whispers echo through the block. Durk's got something planned. After years of loss, betrayal, and silent moves, Lil Durk is no longer just reacting. He's rebuilding. But this time it's different. The story of ODF, Only the Family, was never about fame. It was about survival. It was about loyalty tested in blood, brotherhood forged in pain, and dreams built in the face of chaos. And right when everyone thought the book had closed, Durk flipped to a new chapter. From industry power plays to secret collaborations, from street politics to the music boardroom, Durk's next move isn't just about songs. It's a statement. The message is clear. The OEF story ain't over yet. Behind the cameras, he's building something bigger, a legacy movement that refuses to die. And while critics think they've figured him out, Durk is playing a game they can't even see. Because for him, it's never been about trends, it's about truth. And truth, in his world, comes with a cost. So tonight, we dive deep into the world of Lil Durk, the man who turned pain into power and loyalty into an empire. This isn't just about music. This is about the comeback no one saw coming. Because Durk's next move? It's not just shocking. It's a message to the world that OEF is still breathing. It's a quiet night in Chicago. The city lights flicker over the same streets that raised legends and buried too many dreams. Somewhere on the south side, inside a dimly lit studio, a familiar face sits alone. Headphones on, eyes closed, heart heavy. Lil Durk, the voice of OEF, the face of a generation that learned pain before peace. To the world, Durk is a superstar. Millions of streams, chart-topping hits, and a brand that stretches far beyond Chicago. But to those who really know the story, he's more than music. He's the last flame standing in a storm that tried to blow everything out. When King Von was taken, it wasn't just a friend lost. It was family. The kind of loss that leaves scars no one can see, but you feel them every time a beat drops, every time his voice cracks with emotion. People thought that was the end. They said, OTF can't survive without Von. They said Durk wouldn't recover. But they forgot one thing. Lil Durk has been fighting his whole life. From the streets of Englewood to the top of Billboard charts, his story has never been about luck. It's been about endurance. Every betrayal, every case, every heartbreak, he turned into verses. And those verses became blueprints for survival. Now, as 2025 unfolds, something feels different. Durk isn't moving loud, he's moving smart. He's been seen in Atlanta studios with producers no one expected. Rumors say he's forming a new wave for OEF, not just as a label, but as a movement. Behind closed doors, Durk is reportedly meeting with investors, filmmakers, and artists across the industry. But what's most shocking isn't who he's meeting, it's why. Insiders claim Durk is preparing to redefine OEF entirely, turning it into a platform that reaches beyond rap. A documentary series, a community foundation, a new sound, cleaner, sharper, more global. And if that's true, it means one thing. Lil Durk isn't just trying to stay relevant. He's building legacy, because deep down, he knows the cost of fame. He knows the pain of being misunderstood, the pressure of carrying the streets on his shoulders while still trying to grow as an artist, a father, and a man. In interviews, he's quiet. But silence doesn't mean weakness. It means planning. And every time Durk goes quiet, something major follows. His fans can feel it. The Durk that once rapped about revenge and loss is now rapping about rebirth and change. But make no mistake, the heart of ODF is still there. It's just evolving. Old friends who once doubted him now want back in. New artists are begging to sign under ODF. And through it all, Durk remains calm, focused on the next chapter. He once said, "They counted me out too early." And maybe that's the truth. Because every time the world thinks Lil Durk is done, he returns louder, stronger, and smarter. This is not the end of OEF. This is a rebirth. A new structure, a new mindset, a new mission. But to understand Durk's next move, you have to understand what built him. The loyalty, the betrayal, the nights in jail, the pain of watching friends fall while he rose. Every lyric, every headline, every silent glance, it's part of a much bigger picture. And that picture, it's not finished yet. Durk is painting it stroke by stroke, beat by beat, move by move. The industry is watching. The streets are whispering. And for the first time in a long time, everyone can feel it again. That OEF energy. It's coming back. Not as revenge, but as revival. Because the truth is, OEF never died. It just evolved, waiting for the right moment to show the world that loyalty doesn't fade. It transforms. And Lil Durk, he's not just making music anymore. He's building something that will outlive the headlines, outlast the critics, and outshine the pain. The next move is already in motion. The question is, are you ready to see it? The story of OEF has always been written in loyalty, but loyalty in Durk's world has never come easy. When success hit, it didn't bring peace, it brought pressure. Every handshake came with expectations. Every friendship came with risk. And behind the fame, the question whispered louder than any beat. Who's really with him? Lil Durk learned early that loyalty isn't proved in words. It's proved in silence. When the cameras turn off, when the crowd goes home, when you're left with nothing but your circle, that's when truth shows. And over the years, that truth broke his heart more than once. He's seen brothers switch sides for clout. He's seen people smile on his face and plot behind his back. He's watched the same streets he fed turn cold when he needed warmth. But through all of it, Durk never stopped giving back because that's who he is. To understand his next move, you have to feel the weight of that loyalty. When he says, "Only the family," it's not a slogan, it's a survival code. For Durk, loyalty isn't just who stands with you when you win. It's who stays when everything falls apart. After Von's death, that code was tested harder than ever. The streets expected revenge. The media expected drama. But Durk did the opposite. He went silent. For months, no headlines, no diss tracks, no public reactions. Just music, just focus, just pain turned into poetry. That silence spoke louder than any response could. Because Durk wasn't running. He was healing. He knew that every move he made from that point forward would define ODF's future. Would it crumble like every other street-built empire? Or would it rise as a story of transformation? Behind the scenes, Durk started cutting ties, quietly but clearly. He began surrounding himself with people who thought beyond the block, beyond the beef. Managers who saw him not as a rapper, but as a brand. Producers who wanted evolution, not repetition. And that's when the shift began. OEF started feeling different. The music grew cleaner, the visuals sharper, the message clearer. Durk wasn't just rapping about pain anymore. He was rapping about purpose. Songs like All My Life showed the world a side of him that critics never expected. A man tired of loss, ready for legacy. And that message hit deep because everyone watching knew this wasn't an act. It was growth, real, raw, and earned. But growth comes with enemies. When Durk started moving different, some took it as betrayal. Old associates accused him of changing. Internet voices claimed he'd gone soft. What they didn't understand was he had outgrown the chaos. Durk was no longer chasing validation. He was chasing vision. Late nights in Atlanta, he'd sit in the studio with candles lit, beats low, writing verses not about what he'd lost, but about what he was building. He'd look around the room. His team's smaller now, tighter, cleaner, and he'd smile quietly. Because he knew this is what Von wanted. Not endless war, but lasting victory. Still, the past never fully lets go. Every headline, every case reminder, every time a name from OEF hits the news, it pulls him back into memories he's tried to bury. But instead of breaking him, those memories fuel him. Each tragedy becomes a lesson. Each betrayal becomes motivation. People close to Durk say he's different now. More calculated, more spiritual. He prays before sessions. He talks about energy, about protecting peace. He's still Durk, still the same voice of Chicago, but wiser, quieter, heavier. The fans notice it too. His concerts hit different now. You can feel the emotion in every pause, every lyric. When he performs songs about Vaughn or his fallen brothers, the whole crowd sings like it's a prayer. It's no longer just music, It's healing for thousands who've lived the same pain. That's what makes OEF bigger than a label. It's become therapy for the streets, a movement that turns pain into power. And yet, behind that calm exterior, Durk is still plotting. Industry insiders say something major is coming. Not an album, not a feature, but a blueprint. A full-scale ODF rebirth. Whispers talk of documentaries, foundation work, maybe even independent distribution deal. Something that puts Durk in full control of his legacy. Because if there's one thing Lil Durk learned, it's this. You can't change the past, but you can control what it becomes. And as the world watches, one thing is clear. Durk's loyalty might have been tested, but it was never broken. This isn't the story of a rapper trying to survive fame. It's the story of a man rebuilding an empire, brick by brick, beat by beat. For everyone who ever believed that OEF was more than music. And now, as the next chapter begins, the world waits to see what Lil Durk will do next. Because if history has shown anything, his quietest moments always come before his loudest moves. There comes a point in every fighter's life where the war outside stops, but the battle inside never ends. For Lil Durk, that moment came when he realized that the things he lost were never coming back. No amount of fame, money, or revenge could bring back Vaughn, Nusky, or D-Tang. And that truth hit harder than any bullet ever could. For years, he carried pain like armor. Every lyric, every verse, a coded message from his heart to the world. But over time, he began to see that survival wasn't enough. He didn't just want to live through pain. He wanted to grow past it. That's when Durk began to change. Not in public, not on camera, but in silence. He started talking less about what he lost and more about what he wanted to protect. His family, his peace, his future. People close to him say it started after a simple night at home. Durk was sitting with his kids, laughing, watching cartoons. And for a few hours, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. Real quiet peace. No headlines, no drama, no noise. Just life. And in that moment, he realized this is what he's been fighting for all along. It wasn't about proving himself to the world. It was about proving to himself that he could rise above it. He began spending more time off the grid. In Atlanta, in Miami, in quiet studios far from the chaos. Durk started working with producers who understood his new mindset. Less darkness, more direction. Every new track felt intentional. Every lyric carried meaning. It wasn't just pain anymore, it was purpose. And that purpose began to shape the new ODF. Durk wanted to give the next generation what he never had, real guidance. He started mentoring young artists privately, teaching them how to move smart, not loud. He told them straight, you can't make it if you move for the streets. You make it when you move for your story. Those words hit deep because they came from someone who had lived it. Durk wasn't preaching success, he was teaching survival. But what made his growth truly shocking was how authentic it felt. Most rappers rebrand when the fame fades. Durk evolved while still being at the top. He didn't run from his past, he built a bridge over it. And that's what his next move is all about, turning pain into power and power into peace. Behind the scenes, he's investing in projects that no one expected. A mentorship program for Chicago youth. A new ODF documentary highlighting real stories from the block. Not glorifying violence, but explaining why it happens. He's even rumored to be in talks with major streaming platforms for a visual series. One that blends his music with real-life lessons from his journey. Durk knows he's still a symbol for millions. But now, he wants that symbol to mean something more. He wants OEF to stand for transformation, for breaking cycles, not repeating them. Yet, growth doesn't erase memories. Some nights, he still sits alone in his car, staring out the window, playing old Vaughn freestyles or Fang's voice notes. It hurts, but it fuels him, because those voices remind him why he can't stop, why the story isn't over yet. Every beat he drops now carries their legacy. Every success feels shared. Every failure becomes fuel. And through it all, Durk remains grounded, humble in his wins, silent in his storms. He no longer moves to impress. He moves to inspire. When fans see him on stage now, they notice the difference. The crowd roars, but Durk stands calmer. Eyes closed, hand on chest, letting the music speak. It's not about hype anymore. It's about healing. This is Lil Durk in his evolution era. A man no longer running from pain, but walking with it, head held high. The industry calls it a comeback. But the truth is, he never left. He just shifted gears. And as his focus turns toward the future, one thing becomes clear. Lil Durk's next move isn't about proving who he is. It's about showing what OEF can become. A symbol of loyalty, a lesson in growth, a movement that refuses to die. Because in a world where most fade when the noise fades, Durk's silence speaks louder than ever, and the world is finally listening. Every era in hip-hop has its turning point. That one moment when an artist decides to stop being a player in the game and become the one controlling the board. For Lil Durk, that moment has arrived. For over a decade, OEF has been a name shouted in lyrics, printed on hoodies, and painted on murals. But now it's transforming into something deeper, a brand, a business, and most importantly, a legacy. Behind the scenes, Durk has quietly built an empire most people never noticed. Music was just the beginning. He's now investing in independent distribution, film production, and even tech, exploring new ways to give young artists ownership over their art. Because if there's one thing you learn from the industry, it's this. If you don't own it, it ain't yours. Durk doesn't just want to be remembered for his hits. He wants to be remembered for creating opportunities. And that's the core of his next move. The world sees OEF as a rap label, but Durk is turning it into a full-scale movement. A media house, a community network, a future empire built on real stories, real struggle, and real independence. Sources close to him say the blueprint has been in motion since 2023. Durk began building teams quietly, not just producers and rappers, but videographers, editors, strategists, and financial advisors. He's teaching his circle how to create their own lanes, how to move smarter than the system ever allowed. In his own words, "We done proved we can survive the streets. Now we gon' own the future." That line sums up his evolution perfectly. From drill beginnings to mainstream dominance, to business innovation, Lil Durk has defied every box they tried to trap him in. And while the world focuses on drama, Durk's vision stretches far beyond it. He's not just trying to win the charts. He's trying to change the narrative. Think about it. A kid from Inglewood, once dismissed as another statistic, now sitting at business tables with executives, CEOs, and global partners. No college degree, no safety net, just grit, experience, and unshakable focus. That's the definition of evolution. But it's not just about money. Durk's next move carries meaning. He wants OEF to become a voice for the voiceless, to show kids from the trenches that they don't have to die to be legends. They can build, they can own, they can live. And that's the message the industry wasn't ready for. Because Durk isn't waiting for validation. He's rewriting the blueprint of what success from the streets looks like. Every new OEF artist now goes through mentorship before music. They learn branding, business, and protection. Durk wants no more wasted talent. No more lives lost to the same cycle he barely escaped. He said it before. "I'm tired of seeing my people crash out. We gotta start thinking long-term." That mindset shift is what truly shocks everyone. The Lil Durk who once embodied the pain of Chicago now represents the power of growth. And the industry can't deny it, because the results speak for themselves. In the last few years, Durk's name has moved from street news to Forbes conversations. He's being studied not just as an artist, but as a case study in evolution. From trauma to triumph, from chaos to control, from survival to sustainability. And OEF is the foundation of it all. The label that once stood for only the family now stands for something even bigger. Opportunity, transformation, forever. It's a new code for a new generation. Because Durk knows there's a young version of him somewhere right now, writing bars in a cold room, dreaming of being seen. He wants OEF to be that bridge, the platform that helps the next kid make it without losing himself along the way. And that's where his shocking next move connects everything. A global collaboration. Sources hint at a massive OEF media expansion. Films, documentaries, podcasts, and music that tell real stories from the trenches to triumph. Not glamorizing pain, but humanizing it. It's Durk's way of saying, we've lived enough of the struggle. Now it's time to show the strength. He's finally turning OEF into what it was always meant to be. A voice for every fighter who refuses to quit. And the best part? He's doing it his way. No labels controlling the narrative. No fake headlines. No distractions. Just real stories, real growth, and real legacy. As the cameras prepare to roll, and Durk's next chapter begins to unfold, one thing becomes undeniable. The OEF story isn't ending, it's evolving. And if this is the calm before the storm, then what's coming next will shake the entire industry. The lights in the studio flicker. Durk sits in front of the mic, quiet, focused, eyes low. There's no crowd, no noise, no cameras. Just him and the weight of everything he's built. You can feel it in the air. Something's coming. Not just another song, but a statement. A declaration that the new era of OEF has officially begun. For years, Lil Durk has been the voice of struggle, the echo of Chicago's pain. But now, he's become something bigger, a symbol of growth. A man who turned grief into greatness, chaos into clarity, and fame into fuel. And tonight, he's ready to make the move that changes everything. Industry whispers say Durk's next project isn't just music, it's a movement launch. A multi-part visual album tied to a documentary series called Still Family. Each episode is said to reveal the real stories behind OEF. The beginnings, the losses, the rebuilding. It's not just entertainment, it's truth. Durk's team calls it the closure we never got. It's the first time the world will see the inside of his world. The business, the pain, the process, the purpose. And what makes it shocking is that Durk isn't waiting for labels, sponsors, or networks. He's releasing it independently. Fully owned, fully controlled, fully OEF. This is the moment every fan has been waiting for. The moment Durk proves that independence isn't just possible, it's powerful. He once said, "They gave me a mic, I built a movement. They gave me pain, I made it purpose." And that's exactly what this final move represents. As the world prepares for the release, fans online are buzzing. Hashtag OTF Rebirth trends worldwide. Clips leak from the documentary. Durk walking through old neighborhoods, stopping by Vaughn's mural, talking to the youth. He doesn't brag. He reflects. He looks into the camera and says softly, "We can't change what we lost, but we can change what comes next." That line hits like a prayer, because it's not just about music anymore, it's about message. OEF was once a dream for the streets. Now it's becoming hope for the world. The film's trailer shows glimpses of his journey. Dirt roads, flashing lights, courtroom doors, recording booths, and finally, Durk standing on stage, eyes closed, crowd chanting his name. The words fade in on screen. Only the family. Always. And that's when it hits. The OEF story was never about ending. It was always about becoming. In the months leading to this announcement, Durk made another quiet decision. One that truly defines who he is now. He set up a foundation in honor of Vaughn and D-Tang. A fund dedicated to helping kids in Chicago stay off the streets, stay in school, and stay creative. No press release. No big event. Just action. He's turning pain into protection. Legacy into leadership. Because that's the real Durk, the one the headlines never show. Not the rapper with chains and cars, but the man who carries names in his heart and lessons in his mind. And maybe that's what makes this next move so powerful. It's personal. It's him saying, "I survived so my people could thrive." When the documentary finally drops, the world will see every side. The struggle, the betrayal, the rebirth. And through every frame, every lyric, every shot, one truth echoes. OEF didn't fall. It evolved. Lil Durk's next move doesn't just shock people. It reminds them what resilience looks like. The final scene of the story plays out like a movie. Durk walks into a massive OEF warehouse, his new headquarters. Walls covered with art, plaques, and faces of those who started the journey with him. He looks around and smiles, a calm, proud smile. "We made it out, but we ain't done yet." He turns, walks toward the studio, the camera follows, and as the door closes behind him, you hear that familiar voice say, "Long live Vaughn, long live the family, OTF forever." The beat drops, the screen fades to black, and the words appear. This isn't the end, it's the next beginning. Microphone final narration, closing message, RapShock CTA. And that's the truth about Lil Durk's next move. It's not just another headline, it's a rebirth. He's not chasing charts anymore. He's chasing legacy. From the blocks of Chicago to the global stage, Durk has proven that real power isn't in fame, it's in focus. Because when loyalty meets vision, even pain turns into purpose. OTF isn't over. It's evolving. And this is only the beginning. Clapperboard, you're watching RapShock, where the real stories never die. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because Durk's next chapter is one the world won't forget. And that is the story of how Lil Durk turned pain into purpose and loyalty into legacy. But this isn't where it ends. This is where the real chapter begins. Durk's next move has already shaken the industry, and what comes next will define OEF's future forever. If you felt that journey, the struggle, the silence, the strength, then you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, join the RapShock family, and be part of the community that brings you real stories, not rumors. Because here on RapShock, we don't chase clout, we uncover truth. Every move, every message, every moment that shapes hip-hop, we break it down, raw and real. Stay tuned, because the next shockwave is coming soon. This is RapShock, where the mic never lies, and the story never dies. Microphone fire.